Good morning, geometry students. Today's learning target is to talk about midpoint. Prior to doing that, let's take a look at this warm-up from yesterday. So if you look at this warm-up, the first thing we always did was label. So QP here, that whole piece, is 13x plus 36. QR, the green piece, is 8x take away 4. And the blue piece, RP, is 9x minus 8. And yesterday in class we talked about the little piece plus the other little piece is equal to the big piece. So in this particular problem, the green plus the blue is equal to the pink. So the equation we would write on our exam would be 8x minus 4 plus 9x minus 8 is equal to 13x plus 36. And yesterday we solved the equation, so we're going to save some time by not solving that equation. So today's learning target, as I said, was talking about midpoint. And in class we talked about midpoint means the point is exactly in the middle. So what that means is if this green piece is 5, then the yellow piece is also 5. B is exactly in the middle. So notationally we say AB is equal to BC. And on the diagram I'm going to put this little tick mark. That tick mark in the diagram means the two pieces are equal. And then in terms of notation you may see something like this. AB, and you have a little segment above it, is congruent to segment BC. So this symbol with the little tilde above it means congruent, and it's a fancy word to say that the segments are equal in length. So let's take a look at the first couple examples. So midpoint means the point is exactly in the middle. I always like to label the diagram. So it says, and read it first, so S is the midpoint. So we know these two pieces are equal. And then it says WT, that's the whole thing, is 54. So to find each piece, we would cut that in half. So 54 divided by 2, and I believe we're going to get 27 when we use our calculator. Go ahead and label number 4. So in problem number 4, I'm going to label it. Again, it says S is the midpoint. So I'm going to put the tick marks. It tells me that WS is 37. And since S is the midpoint, that tells me that the two pieces are equal. So the other side is also 37. So to find the whole thing, WT, some people in class did 37 plus 37. Other people did 37 times 2. Either way, you get WT is equal to 74. Let's take another look at a problem with algebra. So if you could turn the page. So in this particular problem, again, we always want to label. It does tell me S is the midpoint. So I'm going to put the tick marks. And then I'm going to label. WT is the whole thing, which is 42. And then ST is 9x minus 24. Now there's two ways of doing this problem. Some people use the idea of saying 42 divided by 2 is 21. So some of you figured out that each piece was 21. And then you set up this equation, 9x minus 24 was equal to 21. Others of you in class said, well, if ST is 9x minus 24, then WX is 9x minus 24. And then some of you wrote 9x minus 24 plus 9x minus 24 is equal to 42. Meaning you use the idea of little plus little is equal to big. I'll solve the blue equation first. Let's add 24 to both sides. You get 9x is equal to 45. And then you could divide both sides by 9. And you'll get x is equal to 5. As I said in class, some of you like the green equation, so we're going to combine like terms. The x's add up to 18x. Negative 24 and negative 24 is negative 48, and that's equal to 42. Then you're going to add 48 to both sides. So you will get 18x is equal to 90. And then when you divide by 18, you get x is equal to 5. So just to quickly summarize, some people solve the equation on the left, others of you solve the equation on the right. You notice you get the same answer. And then the last question from today's class notes was problem number 6. Again, first thing we want to do is label. So Wx is 4x minus 7. St is 6x minus 17. And some of you got stuck at this point. I'm going to underline S is the midpoint. So since S is the midpoint, I'm going to put the tick marks. And that means this green piece that I'm highlighting and this blue piece are equal to each other. So midpoint means exactly in the middle. So the equation for this would be 4x minus 7 equals 6x minus 17. And we're going to go through the algebra as we did in class. One of your classmates said, let's add 7 to both sides. So you get 4x is equal to 6x minus 10. They subtracted 6x from both sides. And the steps don't have to be exactly the same. So negative 2x is equal to negative 10. And then they divided by negative 2. And they came up with x to be equal to 5. Now to find the length of Ws, we can say 4 times 5, take away 7. Doing that on my calculator, we get 13. To find the length of St, we know they're equal, so it should be 13, but let's check it. So 6 times 5, take away 17. Using my calculator, I do get 13. And now to get the length of Wt, we could do 13 plus 13, which is equal to 26. So the goal of this video was to talk about midpoint, and the next lesson will be about midpoint in the coordinate plane.